So Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse came out just now. It's directed by, and the voice cast is enormous: Shamik Moore, Haley Steinfeld, Brian Tyree Henry, Luna Lauren Velez, Jake Johnson, Issa Rae, Jason Schwartzman, Daniel Kaluuya, Oscar Isaac, Karen Sony, Amanda Stenberg, and many more.
Adam
Because
Sandberg.
the multiverse is just
Yeah, Andy Samberg.
so wrong.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Andy Samberg, yes, I loved Andy Samberg, and he had like 2 lines, and he stole the movie. Um, all right, let's start.
Spider-Verse, it's fantastic. Love this movie. It did the thing that Disney's afraid to do, which is make good animation again, do something creative and different.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful movie. It takes 3D technology, marries it with traditional 2D. And not only that, but it goes for broke. They're not only animating on the 2s, they're animating on the 3s, meaning 2 frames per second, at some points 3 frames per second. So they're just trying a ton of great stuff, and all of it's working incredibly well. You have a new Spider-Man, Miles Morales. He's great. Gwen Stacy's fantastic, Spider-Gwen. It's emotionally impactful. It has a great pace. It has great characters. I just don't know how you go wrong. This is one of my favorite Spider-Man movies. Easy.
Yeah.
Eli, what about you? What did you think this weekend going to the movies?
Oh man, yeah. So I've seen it twice now. It's Across the Spider-Verse. I went to see it Thursday night and
Nice.
Friday night. I had to go again because it's just I love this movie so much.
Oh my God.
I-
I'm sorry. Eli, I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought we were doing Into the Spider-Verse. This is Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh,
I
yeah.
made a
No, I gotta hear
mistake.
this.
I'm sorry.
Well, everything you said works for both.
It does, but I want to back up a little bit. There are things
Yeah,
that
no.
don't work in the sequel for me, and that is they went for broke this time with the visuals, which, to their credit, look amazing. However, it does also lead to inconsistencies, whereas, I mean, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? It's all subjective. But maybe you don't want to watch Watercolor World for 30 minutes. You want to go back to more of the Miles Morales style. And I do
Yeah.
feel like sometimes it undercuts the drama aspect when they are getting really playful with those colors and backgrounds, and it's a more emotional scene. Your eyes are kind of not sure what to focus on, or your brain, and it can kind of take
Yeah.
you out. Other negative, again, I love this movie. It's really good. Other negative, though, it feels like someone hit stop before the movie was over, and you're just
Yeah.
sitting there like, this is where we're ending it? I mean, there's a 20-minute slow roll ending on this 2 hour and 20-minute film that really kind of deflates everything, in my opinion. You have a solid 2 hour movie that's just running fast and beautiful. And then the last 20 minutes feel like the end of a season of Lost, where they're wrapping up all the characters and teasing another season. And that was the only bummer for me. But I think it can obviously improve upon when the sequel comes out. And then I'll look back on this one and be
Yeah.
like, okay, well, now we have the whole picture, and it's great. But as for now, great movie. Doesn't quite hit the mark that Into the Spider-Verse did.
I was nervous going into it because Lord and Miller, they create these super, fresh, innovative, funny, first movies. They did the Lego Movie, they did Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, 21 Jump Street, right, obviously. But then they also did the Lego Movie 2, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2, which are kind of lackluster.
Lego Movie 2 is great.
Lego Movie 2 is garbage.
Yeah, I didn't.
Lego
I have
Movie's
never
great.
seen it.
I was like, I don't know. I just feel like Lord and Miller, I was like, they do these super, crazy, innovative first movies that just, push the medium that they're working in, so far. And they sequels are not really as great, in my opinion. I was like,
No.
so I don't know. What if they're going to fumble this one? And I just don't think they did it. But I also think it might have been because they weren't directors, right? They were just, they're there. Their creative energy and their blessing is all over this movie. Like, you can tell it's a Lord and Miller film. Miles Morales has always been my favorite Marvel character. I've loved the character. I discovered the comics.
He's so good.
Yes,
Wait,
and this movie
who?
especially, he really gets his character
go.
specifically gets to shine. Oh yeah. There you go. I don't have mine with me, but yeah. That's discovered that almost a decade ago. That's he's just been very much more so than the Peter Parker Spider-Man. He's just been my favorite Marvel character for the longest time. So when they announced Into the Spider-Verse and they released the first little teaser trailer, I watched that thing 15 times. I was so excited for the first one. The first one blew me away. Super awesome. I rewatched it before I watched the second one, and I was just it's just marvelous. It's so good. So emotional, heartfelt. but also so funny, action packed, and the sequel is no different. I think that it just really shines a light on how him as a character. I just think he's such an amazing character. And the story that they decided to do, it shows how the MCU's multiverse, like it's so much better because you get the scene with all the spider people in it in this movie, right? Like they go to the Spider Society and you're like, look at that. You're just like pointing at all the different people that you see. The most exciting part, the part where people's jaws are just on the floor, has nothing to do with people that we've seen before. It's because it's built that emotional connection to the character and to the story to that point to where it's shocking you, it's wowing you. It's using the Spider-Verse and the multiverse as a tool to further the story and to build that emotional connection with Miles Morales as a character and to push him to do these things and make these choices that cause him to evolve and grow and force him to change as a character. And it's just used much more efficiently than I would say it is in the MCU right now, where it's just like, it's almost used as a distraction for Disney, right? Like, it's almost like, hey, look who that is, like in No Way Home. No Way Home, I think it's a great movie. I love it. It's because of how well the nostalgia is handled. But the story itself, the setup is what really gets criticized. So the nostalgia there is kind of used as a distraction. Like the story's not great, but like, hey, look over here. There's this really cool person that you know before. So
yeah, it's all superficial. It's window dressing. Whereas Across the Spiderverse actually uses the multiverse to tell a decent narrative, like a compelling character arc.
I would compare like from a sensory perspective and a stylistic perspective, this to me felt like the animated Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, great movie.
And from that first scene, like if I could tell right away that this was actually going to try to like deviate from the structure of the first, just because the pacing was a lot slower, which I occasionally took issue with just because it took a while to get into the multiverse. But then also you have that opening scene from Gwen's World, which I just saw had this like wild, rebellious energy to it that I didn't even feel in the first movie. And I thought automatically they were doing new things with it. And of course the emotion was great. Like you said, like there's this one character who's sort of in danger. Well, now we're in spoilers. Brian Tyree Henry's character is in danger. His fate is looming over that third act. And I really felt it. I was like, I don't want this man to die because he's such a loving figure. Like he's harsh on his son, but you love this character. And the stuff that they give his mother, she gets so much more to do. I thought she did really good when she's talking about like looking out for himself and stay that young boy and protect the idea that he is loved and that he is capable.
And she's like, what? And like that, my heart dropped because right away when she said what, I realized what happened. That he went to like the wrong universe.
I didn't at first. I thought they were doing some.
It was the universe the spider came from.
I thought they were doing some cheesy MCU joke,
like to undercut the emotion.
I've never heard of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
No, because it's so brilliant that the Collider sucked the spider out of this universe and then stopped Spider-Man from existing.
By the way, the craziest thing to me about the first movie is that you see the spider glitching out when it's walking around and stuff. So they had it set up like they had this planned out from the first movie.
Great.
That was crazy to me. I'm like, that's insane.
Wild.
That's just the stuff that you want to see, Like they didn't just make the first movie and then okay, this is a success. Now where do we go from here? Like it seems like they just kind of had it planned out all along. Like this is what they wanted to do with this character, and that's really impressive to me. That's what I think is amazing about this particular movies. It's incredible. Like such an achievement.
I think in a way though, Adam was a little right that a lot of it is coming at you in like a very overwhelming way. There are times where it's like, okay, this is a little too much to take in because there's some amazing like wow details or pointing your finger stuff. It's all coming at you at this lightning speed. But I do think, like, for example, the scene when Miles and Gwen are hanging and talking, like these amazing vibes mixed with the music. I thought just from a vibes perspective, this surpasses the first movie, or just from that, like the ambition or the style or the technical achievement, it's up there for animation movies ever.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think like this movie like really explores a lot of things that I didn't think we were gonna explore. Like it really goes deep into some stuff. We were talking about like how Spider-Man 2, went deep and was bigger, and this is kind of that as well. Like, but it turns up to an 11.
Absolutely.
Like, the way that they really go deep into Miles' relationship with his parents, even though his parents are great. Anyone would wish for like parents that are that
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And but still, you're a teenager. You hate them. It's just how it
Hmm.
goes. And and but also, I think the thing that most surprised me was what they did with Gwen's character. I thought it was really crazy how her dad was ready to like arrest her,
Yeah.
and that sets her off to a point that she actually betrays Miles,
Yeah.
like, just like everyone else apparently did as well. And that moment, I think it's the best moment in the movie when he realizes that everyone basically betrays him, and everyone knew that his dad was gonna die. That for me was the the best moment in the movie.
We've had many of these, Deathly Hollows Part 1, Matrix
Hmm.
Reloaded. They've all had the cliffhanger ending, but even so, they feel a little bit more complete than this one did. This has
Yeah.
everything is still
Yeah.
very much open-ended, except for, I guess,
Mhm.
Gwen's story has a
I-
little bit of closure.
I do feel like maybe it was a little bit of like not the best possible moment to end it. It is a great moment, but I would have loved to see a little bit more climax just because they set up that moment with the spot and um like also Into the Spider-Verse had just such a good climax, like especially that moment with where they like reprise the Peter Parker theme where he's like jumping onto the collider. If y'all remember this exact moment I'm talking about. So I was expecting them to at least have some sort of like to end it within the fighting, and they sort of ended it a bit on a fizzle, not a fizzle out per se, because it is like a shocking moment when Miles reveals himself, but it did feel a little more like Dune Part One or Back to the Future Part Two than the ending of Infinity War.
We're building, 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 building. We get to the climax of the movie, and then it's like we keep going, like a little bit,
Yeah.
like a little bit.
Yep.
We get okay. We're slowing down. We slow
Exactly.
down, and then it ends. Like
It's like
I
the
was
Return
just-
of the King. The movie's over, but then you have the 30
Yeah.
minutes of like wrap
Oh my
up stuff, which
God.
I love it. I love it no matter what. But I mean, that's kind of how it felt, right?
Yeah,
The
it's like-
movie's
it's like-
done, but now we're
Genuinely,
moving on.
that
yeah. It's like we're
when
done. Oh wait,
yeah,
are we done now? Like oh, we're still going. Okay, we're done.
That's
exactly,
exactly what I
No,
was thinking
okay.
of. Like, when are
exactly.
you gonna
But
hit me? When are you gonna
Yeah.
hit me?
Yeah,
the
exactly.
first time that they I thought they were gonna end it with him going back. That's the
Yeah.
first like fake out ending
Yeah.
of that.
I thought so
Yeah.
too.
And in my head I was like, no, please not. But I was like, fuck, it's perfect if it stops right here.
Yeah.
And then it didn't. And like as much as I enjoyed, like as a fan, to see like all these little things and all these teasers, like especially the team that they
Him
assemble,
coming back. Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. Like
Yeah.
the team from the first movie and our favorites from the second, like they were really
Yeah.
good at knowing that we would fall in love with those specific characters, because
Mhm.
those are
Yeah.
exactly the ones that are like good.
It goes to Earth 42. Then it's like, then he realizes he's in the wrong universe. Then he
There.
realizes Uncle Aaron's still alive. Then he realizes there's a prowler that smiles around. Like it just kept going. It was shocking. Like it was.
And it's like they have a little conversation after Prowler reveal.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Like
And then I thought it
it
was
did
gonna end
keep.
when it says Earth 42 with his uncle, and then
Oh
it didn't.
yeah. Like yeah. Once Miles got to the other universe, like any second, I was just waiting for it to end any
Every
second.
time, yeah. Or when the camera pans over and they show
Yeah.
his dad is dead on the side of the building.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
now we're done. Nope.
I still loved it every second of it. Every second of the movie, like every frame needs to be hung in a museum. It's beautiful. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. Maybe they just didn't know exactly where to cut it off. You know, maybe they didn't cut off at the best possible speed. But it's
So let's do ratings. Oh, I have no idea who's gonna give the lower one for this one. So let's just start with Eli because you were talking anyway.
okay, great. I give it a 10 out of 10. I give it a 10 out of 10. Like I love this movie so much.
I'll give a few closing thoughts. First of all, Oscar Isaac, Daniel Kaluuya, two standout voice performances for me. Kaluuya especially, he was so chaotic and I loved him. Overall, like I said, the ambition, the vibes top the first movie. Maybe not the plot, just because one is complete, the other not quite yet. And similar to, I think, like Dune or other movies, like I had to rewatch for that cliffhanger to settle in and be okay with that. So I feel like if I rewatch, I'll roll with it more. Um, and also, I just think like Jake Johnson and Miles Morales' dynamic in the first movie made that heart even stronger. But overall, I think the ambition pays off, and I never thought I'd be this excited for Beyond the Spider-Verse. I'm gonna say right now 8.5 out of 10, but I think it'll go up on a rewatch.
I'll
like
piggyback
nine.
off that because that's exactly what I would say, 8.5 out of 10, with the possibility of it going up. I think the thing that separates from the first is some of the inconsistency with the animation styles. Adding the live action moments in there didn't do anything for me outside of roll my eyes, especially the
I
Venom.
enjoyed it.
That Venom scene is like, what? Why? Why was this here?
Yeah, I
Sony,
could see
shut
that.
up. And I also love.
Sony's like, watch our movie. Yeah.
I love that Sony, out of any company, is so obnoxious with their product placement.
Oh, man,
he's
dude,
playing
yes.
Spider-Man on the computer. He's got Sony headphones. It's
Yeah.
like, give me a break with this crap. No one's like this.
I'm like, I never see Sony products out in the
No.
wild. I'm sorry.
No one
I
owns
never
Sony
see them.
products.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2. His dad had like a Sony Vio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like PlayStation. PlayStation is it. People have PlayStation. A lot of people have PlayStation. Yeah.
Speaking
Like,
of the Easter egg with the PlayStation Spider-Man was so. I don't know if you guys played it, but I played the whole.
Oh yeah, I love that game.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And that Easter egg was so funny.
Yeah.
'Cause they're like,
that was funny. It's funny because he's
Yeah,
playing the second game though. Like that was like my brother was like, you can see he does the takedown. Like my brother notices
That's what my
literally
son
everything.
said too. He's like, this is
no,
second
I'm
game.
talking about a
Yeah.
different one. That they were in the like in the spider. What is it called?
Oh.
And like the actual like character of Peter Parker from the video games comes
Yeah.
up and it's like, hey, you're
Yeah.
talking about me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So good.
What about
So
what about
And freaking Childish Gambino.
There was
Oh,
great
what?
cameos for sure. The Childish
Childish Gambino
Gambino
was
one
good.
didn't work for me.
Oh,
at all
yeah.
as the Prowler.
I love the Childish. I just love him. So I don't know.
Yeah,
It was
I
very-
love him too, but it's just funny. He's like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, he kind of looked bored. He always looks bored actually.
It worked because it was like kind of a payoff from Homecoming.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Like
anyway, let's go back to the ratings.
Yep, 8.5.
Actually, we have 2 against 2 here because I'm going with Eli. I'm going at 10 out of 10 as well. I loved this movie.
Beautiful.
fantastic.
Ooh.
And yeah, I think it's my favorite movie of the year so far. And yeah, I can't wait to watch it again. I only watched it once, and I really want to watch it again.